Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. Marvel time at a special time. This is weird.
I guess we have a special announcement about Marvel Time. We should probably cover at the end. But first, new comics.
Yeah, we had a really strong lineup today, I thought. Let's jump into Fantastic Four first of all here. I know you're the big Fantastic Four fan out of the two of us. What did you think of this issue?
Loved it. Pick of the week. I never thought of myself as a Fantastic Four fan because it really depends on who's writing it. I just so many Fantastic Four has such a long history, and they go into a lot of it in this issue, but it's not done in a way that's inaccessible. And just personal relationships and bad mistakes and good mistakes, and there's a great main story, and then there's like a great epilogue story.
Yeah,
setting up just a whole lot of fun. So it's fun. It's the world's greatest comic magazine. It's on the cover. So yeah, I mean it was a strong lineup this week. But it's been the first time in a long time where I was like midway through it, I'm like, nope, this is my pick of the week. I don't even know what else is coming, but this is my pick of the week.
Yeah, this was very, very close to being my pick of the week. There's just another story going on right now that I'm very much into that we'll get to in a little bit. But yeah, you mentioned how they do go into some of the history of the Fantastic Four, but doesn't feel inaccessible. And I think they do it in a way that's comical almost, like just kind of going through like Johnny Storm's dating history is in a pretty funny way. So yeah, no, I really enjoyed this. And I will say, often when we get a good ending to a comic and then they add like that other little bonus story to the end of it, sometimes it's a letdown. Like you get this really awesome moment and then you kind of end on this flat story at the end. And this had a really great ending and then an even better ending in that extra few pages, whatever it was. Yeah, I really, really like this. I'm glad they don't draw out. You know, we talked about this cover a while back because they released it a long time ago, and how Skye clearly is not what she says she is, and obviously with it being on the cover, it wouldn't have worked as a big twist. So I'm glad they don't really draw that out and they kind of throw that out there early.
Yeah, but they also is like a twist in there where like you think you know where the twist is going, and then there's another like Johnny Storm does not come across great in this issue.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right about that. And there are quite a few twists in this issue for sure.
So that's my pick of the week. But what's our next title?
Our next title, we're going to get into some of the X universe here with X-Corp. I'm not sure how I felt about this one, to be honest. This is one where I was like, I liked a lot of the aspects of it. I liked how different it was. And then at the same time, it was kind of throwing a little bit too much at you. And there's a lot going on. What were your thoughts on this one?
I liked it, didn't love it.
Yeah.
And I think I would have liked it more if it was just sort of removed from everything else going on in the X universe right now. It just kind of felt, the books are so kind of, it's kind of its own little thing that is probably, if it was not an X book at this moment, I would have enjoyed it more. And also I think the lineup was so strong this week that it just sort of fell to the bottom. But I love some of the characters. I like this Professor X moment at the beginning. You don't really usually hear him like thinking things, like thinking things out. Usually it's edict or whatever. And so I liked it. I don't know. There's just so much going on with the X-Men right now, and it's like. Yeah. I just kind of feel like if it's not Hellfire Gala, I just don't know that it just seems sort of extraneous.
Yeah, it feels like a weird time to launch this new series when we know the Hellfire Gala is coming up, and it's kind of hard to. Hi, Molly. It's kind of hard to get into a new series. Although I will say I like that they go in so many different directions with these X books. Like this one is essentially a legal drama in some ways. Like it's very different. It's not an X-Men title. It's not a Marauders title.
Right.
It's so different from a lot of the other things. So I like that. But I still think, kind of gets into some of the same issues that we get with a lot of the other X books, where they're just throwing more and more characters at you with these sort of vague powers, and you're learning more about them as you go, and there's just too much happening.
And I really liked Way of X, and it just feels like every week there's a new X-Men book, and I feel like we need to take a little step back and digest a little bit. But
yeah, I would love to know what's going. I would like to get the next Way of X as opposed to jumping into a new series. You're right about that. So our next title, we talked a little bit about Doctor Doom in Fantastic Four, and now here he is in Guardians of the Galaxy as well. And this was one, again, too, that we learned about this issue a while ago and learned that Doctor Doom would be joining the Guardians of the Galaxy. And so here it is. I was excited for this one.
Yeah, and I there's sort of two plots happening at the same time. And I like the Doom, Hulkling, Wiccan plot in this issue a little bit more than the other one where they're kind of dealing with ego, the Living Planet. But it's definitely it's not like there's anything that's here that's shocking in terms of like, it's definitely, it's not the first issue, it's not the last issue. It's needed meat of the story, so it's hard to be like, wow, something really different here. But I really I like what they did with Doom and Rocket and everyone, and so I'm excited to see where this is going.
Yeah, you mentioned that Doom and Rocket bit, and I mean, not to get too into it, but there's a body switch thing happening here that needs to happen on the screen. Like, we need to see Doom in Rocket's body and vice versa, because it was hilarious on the page, and that's one of those things that I'm like, oh, that would definitely translate to a movie or TV show or whatever it be. I am liking this series. You're right, there was nothing big and shocking about this, mostly only because they told us a long time ago that Doom was going to be joining the Guardians of the Galaxy. So that kind of spoiled. It's
literally on the cover.
Right, yeah. So I think that could have been handled a little bit differently maybe. But I love this group of characters, and they're doing a good job of making this story feel important. Like, when Doom shows up and says, I'm here because something big is about to happen, something big is about to happen. So while we don't know like that this is going to be any sort of big crossover thing, I mean, I guess Heroes Reborn is sort of the big thing right now. It feels like it should be a big crossover event that this is leading up to. So I don't know. We'll see where this goes. But like I said, it feels important. And speaking of Heroes Reborn, I will say right off the bat here, this is my pick of the week. I'm liking the way this story is going right now. It's so different. Getting this new, different universe allows for such crazy things to happen without it really having too much consequence. Although I guess we'll see how this plays out in the end. But some crazy stuff happens in this book, and I really enjoyed it.
If I had a theme for this week, it would be heartbreak.
Yeah.
You have Johnny Storm causing heartbreak. You have Hulkling and Wiccan going through their interesting situation. And the thing with Bruce Banner or Hulk in this issue just tears you. If it doesn't tear you to pieces, that means you're not human.
Yeah, like I said, some crazy stuff happens. I am liking this new, different universe. Hyperion is such a interesting character, and I've talked about the show The Boys on here before and how much I love that. And Hyperion is so much like Homelander, the main character in that show, and it's such like funny comparisons there. And I'm loving it. I love the way that they're going with this. There's a really awesome ending that I think we kind of saw coming, but at the same time, it's still like, when it happens, you're still just like, oh yes, I can't wait to see where this goes. Yeah, it was really cool. This is one of my favorites in a little while here.
Yeah, it's we didn't pick it just because there's too many titles this week, but there's two tie-in issues this week as well that I want to check out.
Yeah,
one focused on Hyperion and one focused on Peter Parker, who is not Spider-Man.
Right. Yeah, that's another twist to this universe. Is a very different version of Peter Parker. So that was pretty cool as well. And one more title to talk about here, and this was the giant size Amazing Spider-Man, the finale to King's Ransom. Before I say anything, I want to get your thoughts on this because we've been following this whole story all the way through.
So I wasn't loving it at the beginning. I felt like everything was just sort of they made it a big deal, but in the end it just kind of came across as like another Spider-Man gets a mythical object story. But then the twist happens and I'm sold. I worry what's going to happen to Gog. But and then Kingpin, what he ends up doing, I mean, he monologues a little bit too long, but the one thing that I felt was a little weird was they made such a big deal about this new Spider-Man suit. And as you can see in this cover, it doesn't last very long.
Right.
And so it's just, I mean, part of the comics business is, Ballyhoo, Excelsior, and all that Stan Lee kind of stuff. But like, I just feel like, these kinds of things should last longer than like 3 months.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, this was another thing like we knew was coming, that the suit wasn't going to last very long. And I think the story played to that as well. If something comes from J. Jonah Jameson, Peter Parker's not going to roll with that for too long, probably. Mm-hmm. So, I liked this issue. I thought it was a satisfying conclusion, not a great conclusion to the whole story. There was I liked the first twist that you mentioned. The kind of twist that we get with Kingpin is not something that really excites me going forward. I'm interested, but it's not something that would be like on the top of my list to check out going forward.
Well, and this isn't a finale of anything. I mean, to be perfectly honest, like we know there's stuff going on with Doc Ock, Kindred is still out there, Kingpin's still doing his business. And so I just feel like by making this a giant size Amazing Spider-Man, I mean, I don't know what the marketing reason was, but I think it overplayed it when it was really just like an end of a story arc in a longer story. And you don't read this and be like, oh, wow, okay, this is a great end of it. It's not like the Venom run that we had where it's like, okay, I mean, it still has things that will lead into other things, but you don't feel like, okay, that was a conclusion. This is not. And I feel they overplayed their hand a little bit with this one.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's basically, I mean, there have been stories within stories happening with Spider-Man lately, and this is really just the ending to the Boomerang story, more or less. And I don't even know if it's really even that. I think obviously Boomerang is probably going to have a role going forward. So we'll see how that goes. But you're right. I'm excited for a lot of the other stuff coming up in Spider-Man, in Amazing Spider-Man. Like you said, Doc Ock and the Sinister War that is coming. So, looking forward to that.
And I feel like the Kindred story is going to play out to something cool eventually.
Yeah.
But we're just waiting for the right moment. Like, how like when you watch a TV show and they have like a main storyline, but like the show has to last 7 seasons, so they add in all these like extra things. Yeah. And not saying it's extraneous, but it's not really what you want. That's kind of what I feel with this part, because they make such a big deal about the King's Ransom, the tablet, and then he gets it, and then it's like, oh well.
Right. And honestly, as I was reading this issue too, I was thinking, like they were going for that tablet for so long that I forgot what the whole idea was of this thing. Like, what are the powers of this tablet, and what can you even really do with it? Then we get an answer here, but it did feel like it was drawn out, and they were kind of vague with that sort of stuff. So I don't know. It was interesting, and then it also kind of downplayed the consequences of this whole story. Like at the end, a thing happens, and Spider-Man's just like, yeah, well, so I'm like, well, why did we go through all that? But, I am looking forward to the other story that is going to come after this. So we'll see how that goes.
What else we got?
We have, those were our 5 comics for this week, but we do have some Marvel news to talk about, including a new poster for Loki that just came out. And I mean, I don't know about you, but something stands out about this poster. This this little clock guy down here.
I remember seeing the poster like out of the corner of my eye, and I was like, "Why is the orange bird? Like, what is this thing?" And then I look, and I realize it's a clock. But I'm like, I'm excited now.
Yeah, I feel like I can hear him saying, "Let's all go to the moon."
Right.
Yeah, it's very strange. All I know is I can't wait for this show now. I mean, not now. The entire time I've been looking forward to it, but it keeps getting crazier and crazier, and I'm ready. I'm ready for it. This long layoff is already too long.
Got that right.
So when we get rid of that here, let's jump into some more news. We did get a trailer for Venom, Let There Be Carnage. I don't know if we've ever really talked about that movie, the first Venom movie on here. What happened?
I didn't see it.
Okay. Well, that makes sense then.
Yeah. I don't, honestly, it wasn't until King in Black that I even gave a hoot about Venom. And it didn't get great reviews. I read the Wikipedia and I'm like,
Yeah.
You know, and you know, I don't need to see every, like, I love what Marvel Studios does, but it doesn't mean I see, like, I never saw the second or third Fantastic Four movie.
No, me neither.
And it's not that, you know, and I mean, I love the interconnected stuff, but it's not just that. It's just like they've earned my trust,
right?
And Sony has not.
Yeah, that's definitely a fair point. I will say I kind of like the Venom movie, but I mean, it absolutely destroys my favorite character, completely changes everything about him, more or less. So I hate it on that aspect, but it was fun. It was ridiculous. It was so over the top. So if you take it for, like, you know, for what it is, then you can enjoy it. As far as Venom, Let There Be Carnage, I am excited about Woody Harrelson playing Carnage. I think that's an awesome casting. I think he sounds like Cletus Cassidy, and can do a good job of that. So I hope they let him be crazy for this.
It's amazing that they decided to go with the barkeep from Cheers.
Or, you know, one of the guys from White Men Can't Jump either. So but yeah, I'm going to see it. I'm absolutely going to see it. The trailer didn't 100% sell me on it. I think they're being too funny with Venom. Like, Venom shouldn't really be that funny of a character, but I don't know. We'll see. It'll probably be ridiculous and entertaining and destroy everything about my favorite character all over again.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'll see it if it have. I mean, I guess like now, like I have more time, you know, because there's less movies. But just like when they come out, you know, and we have to see. Not only do we have to see movies we want to see, you know, because of what we do, we see a lot of stuff we have to see, and you know, so I don't go. We'll see. We'll see where it is. I'm not sold on it yet.
Yeah, we'll see. Next piece of news here: Black Panther in concert at the Hollywood Bowl this September. I, obviously, being over here on the East Coast, have never been to the Hollywood Bowl. I've never gotten to experience anything, you know, any of the really cool events that they put on out there. I'm assuming you have some experience with that.
Yeah, once or twice. Yeah, it's cool. You know, and this one's actually part of the Hollywood Bowl does like leased events where like you can book the Hollywood Bowl, and a lot of things like they've done Little Mermaid and stuff are done that way. And there's a little bit more creative control, but Disneyland has done part of the seat. Like they did a special anniversary thing for the 50th anniversary, which I realize is now 15 years ago. But and you know, so they do a lot of great things. And what's nice about the bowl is it's big, so you know you can get tickets. It's not like a concert hall. Like when you go to a John Williams concert at the Hollywood Bowl, everyone brings lightsabers, and it's somewhere between rock concert and symphony hall in a weird way that only works in LA. But yeah, no, I'm excited. I think it's great. I think, I mean, Ludwig Göransson is like is just a genius. And so, I mean, and not just with Black Panther, but everything he's done. And so, I mean, Mando, I mean, come on.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
you know, I'm glad, Hollywood Bowl is sort of famous for having John Williams perform every year, or conduct every year, which he'll do again this year. But it's nice to see some of these other film directors get a little bit of attention. Now that John Williams is basically retired.
Right. Yeah, seeing John Williams would be a bucket list thing for me. This would be, up there on that list as well. This would be a really cool experience.
It would have been a bucket list item on me if I didn't see him first when I was like 15. I've seen him like 7 times since.
Of course. Yeah. We also got a look at some brand new Marvel Legends series figures. I'm going to share a look here.
These are cool.
Yeah, they really are. I was not expecting, Avengers Endgame figures dropping like this, but that Thanos especially, that is really awesome.
With the Iron Gauntlet on.
Yeah, it's a little weird that he has that gauntlet.
I think it's because they have that. They've done him, so like because this figure has his sort of, you can see him try. It's like this is a specific moment in the film, which I think is really cool. Usually you get, look at me, I'm Iron Man, but and Academy Award winner Anthony Hopkins.
Is he? Does that count?
I should get my Black Panther figure and my Odin figure and like have them seated and then like open up an envelope.
Well, that sounds like a fun toy photography idea. I'm gonna put that in my notes real quick. But I like this new Odin figure. That's when I think of adding figures to my collection, Odin is not one of them that comes to mind. But I love when they throw those sorts of characters at you and do such an awesome job of making it look like the character that you.
Well, it's not so much on Marvel, but like you only need so many Boba Fett figures in your life. But it's nice when you get those characters that, especially when you're trying to like you do amazing photography, but it's it's not. If they're all just Iron Man, then there's only so much you can do. But like, having Loki and Thor and Odin in a scene sounds cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And then here's a closer look at that Infinity Saga 2-pack with Iron Man and Thanos. I love how many alternate heads you get. You get a Tony Stark head, a beat-up Tony Stark head, an Iron Man head, multiple Thanos heads, one with his crown on. So many accessories in this too. So just a really cool pack for fans of the MCU. And let's see what else we got here. Whoop, hang on a second.
I was trying to pull that up too, and the epitome of professionalism.
Some more comic book news here. Obviously, the Hellfire Gala is coming up, and they announced actually some real life celebrities that will be involved in the Hellfire Gala, and that is so.
And some are actually celebrities.
Right. We got Eminem, Conan O'Brien, Alex Morgan, Megan Rapinoe, lots of Pete Alonso from the Mets, like really weird choices in there too. We won't go into Alex Morgan's Walt Disney World history, but yeah, really interesting.
Yeah, the one that caught me, Ira Glass. Like,
yeah, that. Okay. Yeah, so interesting that these quote unquote characters will be involved in the Hellfire Gala. I wish I had won that contest to get myself drawn into the Hellfire Gala. That would have been really cool, but I can't be there with Conan O'Brien now, unfortunately. But yeah, I am looking forward to this. They have been really hyping up the Hellfire Gala. I think even more so than what we got for Ten of Swords in the lead up to that. So I'm really interested. I can't wait to see the new X-Men team in action going forward after that. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to this.
You know what I'm looking forward to? What's after the Hellfire Gala? The trial of Magneto.
Yes. Yeah, the trial of
Magneto. Mac.
I was going to say there's a lot coming up after the Hellfire Gala. There's a lot of different directions you could go there. But yeah, the trial of Magneto as well, which, I mean, it always feels like Magneto's on trial for something, even though he's one of the people in charge of Krakoa. So we'll see how this one plays out.
A friend of mine just did a PhD dissertation on Magneto was right.
Wow, that's really interesting.
So
Yeah, at what stage of Magneto's long history?
he didn't read it, but he successfully defended it. So congratulations, Dr. Morse.
That's really awesome. That is actually something I would be very interested in reading. Yeah, so that's another corner of the X universe going on after the Hellfire Gala. Outside of that, we one of the other big stories that was hyped up quite a while ago now, and honestly, when I saw this news story break, I was like, wait, did we miss this? Did we skip Infinite Destinies somehow? But no, it hasn't actually started yet. It'll be starting next month, and they are talking about the conclusion in August. So, I mean, if we work on
I did the same thing. I was like, did I miss the annuals? Like,
yeah,
what happened? And then I had to Google, and I was like, oh, okay, you're confusing me. Let's get started first.
Yeah. Like I said, the conclusion is coming in August. So if we work on the King in Black schedule, this will end sometime in January. We'll see how that goes.
We're still waiting on that last Venom issue, aren't we?
Yes, we are. Venom number 200 should be coming up fairly soon, and within the next few weeks, I believe. So I'm looking forward to that for sure. But Infinite Destinies, I mean, this was the one that we talked about a while ago that, the Black Cat gets the Infinity Gauntlet. And this is going to determine the future of the Infinity Stones. And I can't even fathom what that means for Marvel Comics. I mean, are there not going to be just other versions of them from other universes? Who knows where we're going to go with this?
So many questions. What's interesting, though, is it's not done as like a crossover, right? So it's I mean, I'm gonna be honest, like there's so many stories they're doing there. It's like this should be a bigger deal. Like this should be like Secret Wars level, and then it's not, and then I get confused.
Yeah, we've got Miles Morales SpiderMan annual #1. We've got Guardians of the Galaxy annual, Avengers annual, as opposed to just, Infinite Destinies #1, which is what you would expect to see from a story of this caliber.
Right.
And then finally, actually, I believe that is our last one. There were some other comics announced as well. We know, as I scroll to try and find it here, the new hero Somnus. I'm not sure how they're going to pronounce that one.
It's written. You don't need to.
That's what's
exactly. Great about comics. It's not until they make the movie where you go like, ah.
Right, exactly. That is a new character that'll be making a debut in Marvel's Voices Pride coming up in June. And I believe that is it. Oh, and a new Captain America shield bearer in the upcoming United States of Captain America series. So that is very interesting. We'll see how that plays out. We know U.S. Agent and Bucky Barnes and Sam Wilson will all be featuring that, and of course Steve Rogers. So looking forward to that as well. But yeah, that is it for our news. I do want to mention too that we have a series going on, our countdown to Avengers Campus, trying to break down Avengers Campus from every possible angle. So you can check that out as we lead up to the opening on June 4th.
So I just want to make an announcement regarding this show, nothing dramatic. So you might remember that on Mondays, Mac and Becca have been hosting a show called Marvel Mondays, where they were talking about WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And they were doing that, but now that Loki's debuting on Wednesdays, doesn't really seem to make a lot of sense to wait till Monday. And we're going to have a Marvel show Wednesday, and there's no way we're not going to be able to talk about Loki. So Becca's going to be joining this show as a third co-host once Loki starts, and we'll be talking about Loki each week, and we'll sort of merge the two shows into one massive amount of Marvel fun. So stay tuned to that in June.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that. That is going to be just after our 50th episode as well, I believe. So,
oh wow,
yeah, we got some exciting stuff.
We'll do Marvel Time #1 at Legacy 51.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Anything else before we wrap up for today?
That's enough. Tomorrow's gonna be nuts. So wacky new here at Laughing Place. So join us. So this is it for today. Starting tomorrow we're gonna have coverage of a Disneyland Forward presentation, which starts at 11 a.m. Then we'll segue directly out of that into the earnings call, and then out of that. We have some other stuff that we can't talk about. So it's going to be a busy day. Not a lot of live video shows because we just got a lot we got to cover. But on Friday, Jeremiah will be at the Magic Kingdom checking out their preparations for the 50th anniversary. So that is what's next on the agenda, Kidder. I know we're kind of throwing some curveballs at you, changing things up. But
blame Loki.
What's that?
I said blame Loki. I mean, that's
blame Loki. Yeah. So and then we got a lot going on, and we'll follow us all day tomorrow. We're gonna have live blogs. We'll do video when we can, kind of get just do news updates in the cracks there. So just there's a lot going on tomorrow. So we appreciate you following us all day, basically from the morning until the night. So thanks everybody for watching.
Bye.